you've always been a hustler, meaning
Right.
hustling to do the things you love to do. And you and I, we've often talked over periods of time about just like being authentic to who you are, right? Living your life to the fullest, etc. And eventually, man, you started like, you was like, hey man, I'm going to do some comedy. I'm like, because you always been a funny motherfucker, right? Let's just keep it real, right?
Right.
But you stepped out because comedy's a whole different level.
Whole different animal,
right?
Yeah.
Like it's a whole different level of shit. So, so was it comedy first or acting first?
Comedy, 100%.
Comedy, right?
Yeah, I told you that. And then one day I was sitting in my house and I sat on the side of the bed and something just hit me and said, "You 53 years old, what you gonna do?" That's what I said. And I remember calling you saying, I'm at this class and I got this show coming up. And you was like, really? I said, yeah, man, I just decided I'm gonna do this comedy thing. I'm just gonna do it. And I never looked back. You know, I just jumped into it with both feet. And I'm gonna tell you something. It's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Absolutely. You know, making your friends laugh is one thing. Mm-hmm. Making people, total strangers laugh that don't know you, that they don't know nothing about you, is a whole different challenge. And so it's a roller coaster ride.
Up and down. Huh?
Yeah.
Hey, so now you've been doing it, what, how many years now?
6 years.
6 years. So what steps did you take to get into comedy? If somebody wanted to repeat those steps, like what would you recommend for someone who's interested in getting into comedy? What would you recommend?
First thing I would ask them, has anybody in your life ever told you was funny? If they haven't, you might want to stick with what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest. You can't create funny. You can't make funny. You know, it's got to start somewhere that somebody said, man, you funny. At least one person said that. That's your start. If nobody ever said that, and you just woke up one day and say, I'm going to be a comedian, I would say, don't do it. That's what I'm going to tell you. Don't do that. Okay. Now, if somebody told you that, what I did, I found a class because I wanted, not a shortcut, but I wanted to understand comedy. Right. I want to understand the principles of comedy, the terminologies and things like that. So I took 2 or 3 different classes just to understand it. That was my route. And to learn how to write a proper joke. That's what I wanted to learn. So I took a class with this one guy, and then a guy named Jerry Corley later on, like 2 classes with him. And I think that really helped me. I think it absolutely helped me. I think so. That was my route. And to get on as many stages as you can, because practicing in the mirror ain't the same. The mirror don't boo you. You don't bomb in front of the mirror. You understand? You bomb in front of people. And that bombing section is what's going to make you better. And you can't be afraid to fail. You can't be afraid to try new jokes. When I start playing safe is when I struggle.
I'm sweating already, bro. I'm sweating already just thinking about bombing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you start questioning your jokes.
Right.
And I did that last night. I'm telling you something else real quick. Acting came later, right?
Right.
Acting came 3 years into comedy. I started acting. Acting and comedy, 2 different things. I'm telling you right now.
Okay.
2 different things. When you focus on one of them's gonna suck. I can tell you that right now.
Is that right?
Oh yeah. Because when I'm focused on acting, my stand-up sucks. It don't suck, but it's not as sharp.
Yeah.
And I realized that last night. I had an audition to do. I had a couple auditions to do, and I'm focused on that. I'm doing it, and then I got a show to do that night. Bad move. You know what I mean? Bad move. Because the details, the timing is off. And comedy, you have to stay on it. You got to stay doing it, man. You got to stay doing it. You can't stop for 3 months and pick it right back up. And you the same. It's not. Look at Mike Epps. Look at Damon Wayans before they became actors, and look how great their stand-up was.
Yeah.
And then watch them after they start acting. Totally different.
Hey, listen, same thing, Kevin Hart, bro. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I'm gonna just call it as it is. Call it as it is. That's a good point. I'm glad you pointed that out.
It's comedy is something you have to stay on because there's little intricacies that make a joke bigger. It may be chuckle, but you used to get gut laughs out that joke. Well, you used to do something different too.
Right.
And if you go back and listen to your tape and look at your tape, you'll see that when you're doing it now, you're going through the motions.
Right.
You're not just hitting them with the boom, boom. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now you just kind of know, your joke. You know your joke, but you don't know, you're not hitting the little facial expression, that wink, that body movement that made that joke go over the top. That's the difference. That's what you miss when you're doing both.
You've been at the Improv, right?
Bunch of times, yeah.
Bunch of times, huh? So I want to pull up this this clip of you at the Improv.
I said, you should have worn some gloves. She said, I did. Now I got a latex glove and a 4-carat down the ring up my ass. And it ain't feeling good either. So I looked at it, I said, we can fix this. You give me a newspaper, some banana pudding, a glass of warm milk. And I had that back 10, 15 minutes. Because I'm lactose intolerant. I got bad knees. I got a collapsed lung. I'm a diabetic. My memory, it ain't what it used to be. My name's Kevin Davis to bring the comedy.
Tell you that whole story, right?
Okay.
I was writing a joke about what it was like to perform in Barstow, California, and I was trying to come up with a reference. And the reference I came up with, it was like getting a prostate exam, which is not very comfortable. Well, when I did that joke, I didn't get a lot of laughs from it, so I started doing research on a prostate exam, and I said, "Wow, I got a prostate exam." And when I wanted to get the prostate exam, I actually didn't go for it. I went for carpal tunnel. Yeah. And that's when I ended up with 3 fingers in my butthole, right? And I was, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, hold up, that's not what I came here for. And that's where that joke came from. That joke came from me going in with carpal tunnel and ending up with a prostate exam.
Interesting.
And that's what that story is about. And the fact that I'm getting older, and I was just letting people know that I'm lactose intolerant, I got bad knees, a collapsed lung, I'm a diabetic, and my memory ain't what it used to be. All that shit is true. You know what I'm saying? Everything I'm saying that's legit. Wow. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I would say 90% of the stuff I talk about is real. I just put that curve on it.
Yeah.
And it's just accentuating what you're talking about. You know what I mean? Like if you're talking about your memory ain't what it used to be, and then you pause and act like you forgot, then the people are like totally thrown off because they say he really don't know. You know what I mean? And the better you are at that, and that's the same thing I'm talking about. If you don't practice that right, it won't come off right. If you don't set that joke up right, you won't kill with that joke. But if you set it up right, the people will be dying because you run that line almost 3 different times. And the first time you said you got 10 things wrong with you, but really you only had 5 because you duplicated. The second time you bring it up, you say, I don't run up the steps because I got bad knees, a collapsed lung, I'm diabetic. I got like 4 things wrong with me. You see what I mean? So the memory thing came back again. So that is a classic joke right there. That's what's called callbacks. And that's why that joke works so well.
So there's obviously a process to telling jokes, right?
Right.
Is it, do they kind of give you a formula? Hey, fill in the blanks here. I mean, is that kind of your starting point when it comes to telling jokes?
Well, there's a premise of a joke, there's the setup, and then there's the punchline.
Got it.
Okay, so I'll give you a good example. Here's the premise. I don't date young women anymore. You know, I like young. I don't date young women no more because they say crazy stuff.
Right.
Here's the setup. That's the premise. They say crazy. Here's the setup. I'm dating this 28-year-old girl. She calls me the other day. She says, I'm having a frustrating day. I need my ass ate out. I'm like, what? You want me to eat your ass out? That's a terrible idea. What time? You know what I'm saying? Because I got Bible study at 7. And I don't need to floss. You know what I mean? So again, that's a classic joke. Ready?
Right.
The premise is I don't date young women anymore. And the setup is because they talk crazy. And the punchline is that's a terrible idea. What time? You know what I mean? It sounds like I'm like disgusted, but that's what throws you for the left. Because you're not expecting, you expect me to say, man, that's just, you know what I mean? No, but I go, what time? Yeah. And then the tag, it's called a tag, is I got Bible study, which even makes it worse. So, and remember, comedy is a clashing of 2 things that should be together.
Is that it?
That's what it is. Like I had this joke is about, and I'm working on it, and it's about when I went to Vegas and I seen a midget dressed like an elf, and he was taking pictures. But that ain't what got me, is that he stuttered. And he was black. And I was like, God don't normally give you one, like one thing to work with. Right. But he hit my man with the trifecta, right? I'm thinking like, yeah, God was having a bad day. Like he was getting like audited, or he didn't have sex with his wife or something. And he created this dude. He was like, God damn it, I don't care. Make him a midget, make him black, and make him stutter, right? That just don't happen to people. Think about it. Have you ever met a stuttering midget? No, because God don't do that. But this dude, and he said to me, and I felt bad, and I said, damn, God really don't like you. He goes, fuck you. And I go, no, fuck you, right? So when you see that, like in comedy, when you've been doing it so long, you see funny.
Right.
And then the fastest thing you can do is go write it down so you remember.
Right.
Because you'll forget about it. So you take that joke and you start remembering something in your life. And I was like, what's funny? People don't stutter like when we were growing up. Mm-hmm. A lot of people stutter. How often do you see somebody stuttering now? Very rare, right?
Yeah.
Very rare. When I was in high school, we had a guy named Wesley Gumby. Wesley Gumby stuttered so bad, he had to sing his name, so he could get his name out, right? Mm-hmm. So one day we had a substitute teacher. She was going to be there for a couple of weeks. So she wanted to get to know the class, right? So she goes up to Wesley and she goes, son, what's your name? He goes, somebody holler out, sing it. He started going like, that's right. He said, my name is Wesley Gumby. So the teacher goes, okay, he goes, she said, what's your Latin? He goes, Gumby, right? So she says, where you from, Wesley Gumby? He goes, I said, sing it. He said, deep in the heart of Texas. He said, Wesley, I won't be asking you any more questions. Class is only 15 minutes. So when you see one thing, it leads you to something else. You know what I mean? That you might have happened in your life, and then you go write that joke. So now out of that one joke, you got two good jokes. And them is good jokes. They'll work on anybody. They're not black or white. They just,
hey, let me tell you something.
Again, you putting God, you talking about God getting audited or having a bad day when he created this midget that was black and stuttered. You know what I'm saying? God was having an off day that day, obviously. You know what I'm saying? He didn't get a lot of sleep or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? He don't normally do you like that. He may make you black, give you a small penis, but he never make you black with a small penis and a midget. You know what I'm saying? God don't do that to you. He don't do that.
Oh, bro. Hey, you can have me laughing through the whole show. Listen, that is what I'm talking about. So you've been doing comedy now for, did you say 6 years?
6 years, yeah.
6 years, bro. And you still, every time I talk to you, bro, you be killing me. So you mentioned you took classes. How did you find out about these classes? Where'd you go?
Go online. You go online to Google and look up, especially LA. LA got tons of people to teach comedy. You just got to find the right guy that works for you, that's going to allow you to be you. You know what I mean? A lot of comic teachers want to change you and make you this certain type of comic. Mm-hmm. And a guy named Jerry Corley, he just lets you be you and just work with you on your jokes. He wants you to be who you are. He wants you not to be this stage persona guy, but be whoever you are. And that's what I liked about it. So you can go online and find them.
So that's West Coast. You know, we grew up in the East Coast, and so
New York, Philly, all the places.
Is that right?
And matter of fact, I'm thinking about opening a school in Marietta, to be honest.
Really?
I want to open up a comedy club and a lounge and a / comedy school where people in the Inland Empire and Menifee and all these places can come and don't have to go to LA.
Yeah.
And still get that same type of training. So that's a plan of mine.
But go online, check it out, and have a heart. And more importantly, have one person that say, you funny. One person, right?
If you ain't got one, if you can't look back and somebody said, man, you funny, keep selling whatever you're selling, or if you at the car wash, just keep, shining the mirrors. I mean, do whatever you do your best. You know what I'm saying? But
if you enjoyed this video and want to hear more directly from Kevin Davis, the full-length video, click on the videos after this show. Peace.